You'll know if you should buy this within the next 45 seconds. Here's proof. Shinobi Art of Vengeance is a standout 2D action revival. S-tier combat that progresses with you and nails the mythical ninja power fantasy, hand-drawn art that actually reads in motion, and a Koshiro Lopez soundtrack that does half the selling by itself. Maybe turn the sound effects down a bit, though, so you can actually appreciate it. Sometimes it gets lost in the carnage. Friction for the title lives in precision platforming, specifically with the side content. A hybrid Metroidvania backtrack layer that some will love and others will call pacing tax. And a functional story that mostly exists so you can make bad guys' entrails into X-trails. If you like expressive, momentum-driven, side-scrolling combat, it's an easy buy. If precision platforming makes you feral, it's a wish list and wait for a discount. If all you wanted is that TLDR, cool, thanks for sticking around. But before you go, hit the YouTube buttons and drop a comment. So the platform will show the video to more people and they can get what they're after without waiting until minute 20 in a 24-minute video. Because honestly, I hate that shit just as much as y'all do. If you're new here, hi, I'm Squid. I cover action and shooter titles, and the rule here is maximum meaningful info with minimum reaction faces. Shinobi Art of Vengeance releases on August 29th, 2025 for PC, Switch 1, and your PlayStations and Xboxes at $30 or your regional equivalent at the time of this recording. As for the core gameplay loop, what you actually do minute to minute, combat is what sells this game. You chain heavy and light strings, air dashes, kunai checks, and ninpo specials into a flow that feels earned, not canned. This forms a forward-leaning rhythm. The game rewards you for starting something, instead of waiting for that perfect dodge or parry like other titles. Unlockables in the form of additional combo moves, ninpo, ninjutsu, rage, ultimate abilities, passive and active amulets, which fundamentally shift how you play. All of these things layer meaningful expression. They make you strong without turning you into a face roll god. It's a toolbox that lets you solve encounters with style or restraint. Combat feels premium. There's crisp hit feedback in both directions, readable enemy telegraphs, and risk-reward windows that make for a do-it-again dopamine hit. You miss it? You're not dead. You're just back to fundamentals for a bit. Find the beat again, and you're off to the races. Mini-bosses are lesson plans. There's tight arenas, clear punish windows, maybe one or two gimmicks. Later on, some bosses are recycled as mini-bosses, but honestly, if people didn't whine about the Capra demon becoming a basic enemy, maybe be consistent this time too, yeah? Stage end bosses will add things like phase pacing and pattern symmetry. Early tells are generous, later ones hide a feint or cadence shift, but it's fair, not mushy, and while I didn't find the stage bosses particularly difficult, not every game needs to have bosses on the level of Sword Saint Ishin. If you're up for the challenge, though, you go after the secret boss. That one did make me work for it. Stages generally lean linear spines with branching pockets. Shortcuts, optional challenge rooms, secret chests, combat gauntlets. That hybrid design supports the Metroidvania bits and route sketching without turning it into a full labyrinth. If you enjoy route optimization, you'll eat well here. And all of this works because the presentation keeps up. Art direction is hand-drawn, painterly layers that stay readable even when effects pop, and there's meaningful, purposeful parallax. Dynamic camera sells the sense of scale without feeling needlessly restrictive. Tight crops sell claustrophobia inside vents, and broader pans let you soak in grander scenery. Color reads emphasize hazards versus safe lanes without screaming at you. The effect work has shape, not just bloom. The animation is fluid and purposeful, not floaty, so your inputs feel bonded to the frames. Attack startups communicate intent without muddying your response. As for the score, Yuzo Koshiro and Tei Lopez, nostalgia meets modern punch. Tracks actually push the tempo of your play, not just the vibe. Honestly, if you don't bob your head or feel your pulse quicken a little bit in the optional Enko riffs, maybe see a doctor or lay off the stimulants, or both. Hey, you into this kind of breakdown so far? You know what to do. Now, as I said in my review of the demo, which is up here, if you want to check that out, it feels weird to comment on graphics and performance for a side-scroller, but after the experience that was Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, better safe than sorry. I played on PC, so I can only directly comment on the performance and settings menu there, but I've not heard complaints about console versions from reputable sources, and the demo did well on console. If your experience differs, drop a comment so others can be aware. Display options are similarly sparse to the demo, which is kinda lame. I ran into some screen tearing even with driver-level G-Sync, so enabling V-Sync in-game might be necessary if you're one of the people that screen tearing is an eye worm and just bugs you to death. FPS never dropped below 130 for me, even while asking my PC to record locally and stream and drive several monitors and other programs at the same time. Workload on my 4090 and 7800 X3D hovered around 20 and 30% respectively. There aren't colorblind options, which could have been nice as someone mildly blue-yellow deficient, but the game remained readable 90+% of the time to me. Other accessibility options live in the gameplay experience realm, which allow you to adjust facets of difficulty to suit your overall experience. Do things like tweak enemy HP, damage, attack speed, environmental damage, checkpoint frequency. All of these things can be adjusted to your desired outcome. In terms of customizing controls, if you really wanted to try hard, I could see mapping a programmable paddle on your gamepad to the parry ninpo, but I wound up not even using the thing for most of my playthrough, so that would be a bit extra. Overall, it's a great game with some imperfect edges. Here's what wore at me. In terms of platforming precision, the main line is readable, but side rooms occasionally ask for Celeste or Super Meat Boy adjacent exactness. There's tight coyote time, narrow ledge tolerance, spikes and instant death traps or pits that will 7 out of 10 times send you back to the beginning of the challenge area. It leans much more redo fatigue over mastery. There was one optional area late game that necessitated a break, and I'm professionally mellow. You'll know the one I'm talking about when you get to it. Wall grabs on white gem, claw, climby surfaces can misfire, and corner interactions can feel clunky or inconsistent at times. As for the hybrid backtracking I've mentioned, linear stages with Metroidvania-ish revisit hooks are replay value for some, pacing tax for others. I was lukewarm on the affair, just in terms of pacing of movement tech, like the glider, the claws, etc. Much more, and I'd have been cranky while getting each stage to my brain's mandatory 100% completion state, but it wasn't overly onerous to me. The map UI can be fiddly, but that's a minor complaint in the grand scheme of things. In terms of narrative, the narrative here is effectively functional 80s action movie scaffolding. Villain is bad because he's bad and exists to be katana fodder. Know that you're here for the verb, not the lore compendium. It's kind of like how if you watch a Michael Bay Transformers movie, you expect lens flare, city-smashing robots, and explosions, not Shakespeare. As for overall value in the Burrito Index, length and replay value, the main line is brisk. My first playthrough taking the main stages to 100% was around 11 hours, and about a third of that was on stream, so I'm confident you could go faster if you were locked in. Once you finish the story, arcade mode and boss rush variants open up, and while those aren't my cup of tea, they do add notable replayability for people who like chasing perfection. Art and animation density and soundtrack quality are a tangible production value here and add to the overall experience, not just nostalgia fodder. At $30, if you engage with the combat loop and completionism, you're at an overall high Burrito Index. If you ignore backtracking and bounce off precision platforming, it's more moderate. It's still worth it for the core campaign, but 11-ish hours for $30, that strains the entertainment hours per dollar relationship a bit. For an overall verdict, it's a strong buy if you're here for feel-first 2D action and you want to modernize Shinobi with real expression in its combat sandbox that respects the old bones without being a carbon copy of the old playstyle. It's a discounter wishlist if optional precision platforming is a heavy lift, or you only like purely linear romps and map revisits sound a bit like a chore to you. I would say it's a hard skip only if you demand Shinobi 3 with shinier graphics, need deep narrative to your games, or despise side-scrolling content outright. As for that last one, it'd be kind of weird to make it this far in a review of a genre you dislike, but hey, I won't judge. If you want more reviews like this, clean, honest, zero fluff with the TLDR up front, hit the buttons. It helps more people dodge the rage bait garbage and find stuff that's actually useful. Let us know down in the comments your take. Which rift had you speedrunning your way to my hairstyle? Or which looping juggle combo is your go-to? I've been Bald Squid. I'll see you next time.